If you feel stuck in life, it might be because you don't have any real goals, but I'm going to teach you how to make some goals that you will actually be able to achieve. So to start with, most people are never taught the importance of goal setting. I'll give you an example of how important goal setting really is. There was a study done at a university in the US in 1953. In this study, they asked a group of students whether they had written down any specific goals, and out of that group, only 3% had written down specific goals. And this is where it gets interesting. 20 years later, they tracked down the same set of students, and what they found was that the 3% of students that had written down specific goals had acquired more material wealth than the other 97% combined. So now I'm going to teach you how to make goals that you will actually achieve. So step number one is you need to write it down. You shouldn't type it out. You shouldn't write it in your notes app. You should hand write it on a piece of paper. And this is because this engraves it into your subconscious. And when you write it, you should write it in the positive present tense. For example, if your goal is to make a certain amount of money per year, you would write, I make $200,000 per year. Or if your goal is to live somewhere else, you would write, I am living in Costa Rica. So one thing you shouldn't do is write it in negative terms. So for example, if your goal was to lose weight, you wouldn't write, I have lost 20 kilograms. And if your goal is to quit smoking, you wouldn't write, I have quit smoking. This is because your subconscious can't deal with the negatives. So you need to rephrase these to be in positive terms. So instead, you would write, I am enjoying the health benefits of being a non-smoker. Or you would write, I weigh 80 kilograms, or whatever your target weight is. Okay, now for the next step. You need to add a deadline. This will give you the sense of urgency to be able to drive you and motivate you to complete the goal. So the deadline should be a reasonable amount of time for you to be able to achieve the goal. So going off the examples from earlier, I make $200,000 per year by the 30th of September 2026. Now I feel like that's a reasonable time frame to be able to achieve that. That's one whole year from today. Or going off of the other example, I'm living in Costa Rica by the 30th of September 2026. Again, that's 1 year from now, which is a reasonable amount of time to achieve that. Now for the next step, you need to read them regularly. So this can be every morning and every night. And as you're reading them, you should also visualize each one as you read it. Give yourself a minute for each goal to visualize it. And when you visualize it, you should note down, how do you feel? What do you see? And what do you hear? Now finally, the last and most important step, you need to take action. If you have goals and you don't take action towards them, what's the point? You need to take the action towards your goals to actually be able to achieve them.